I'm extremely honored today to be able to introduce our guest speaker. Please be seated. Born in Oklahoma, he made his way to Texas through Colorado. He left college in 1986 to join the United States Marines. He was assigned to Mike Company, 3rd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment in Southern I Corps in April of 1969. He was wounded in combat action in September of 1969 and was medically retired after 8 months being in the hospital in May of 1970. A former newspaper reporter, media relations specialist, he is now a retired psychotherapist devoted to writing and photography. Gary currently resides in Gainesville and is the historian for the Gainesville Host City program for Medal of Honor recipients. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Alexander.
It's very gratifying to be here today in what people refer to as the Panhandle, but which I prefer to call real America. Real America is where you find real Americans. And I know it's the way it's portrayed these days, but when you look at that famous map of so-called red states and blue states, the original map wasn't states at all. It was counties. And like somebody said, we surround them. So I'm happy to be here in the bastion of West Texas, where men are men and women are glad. These 2 days, November 10th, and the other branches will forgive me, we celebrate our birthday on November 10th, 234 years of romping, stomping history. And then knew there'd be at least one to back. And then today, where 18 or 80, all veterans have a bit of national recognition, as they should. Where would we be without the great Americans since 1775 who have served and, when called on, laid down their lives in the pursuit of freedom and liberty? I'm particularly gratified to be here with the traveling wall as an observer. It never fails to touch your heart. It came to pass that on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns fell silent. 5 years of World War and its great horror had come to an end. And since that day in 1918, we have honored our veterans on this morning each and every year. And yet, more than 90 years later, we now know less and less about the service of our veterans, much less about our military, which is, with its daily sacrifice, underwrites the cost of our freedom and liberty. Today, there are about 23.5 million veterans, a little less than 13% of our 303 million population. This means that out of every 12 or 13 people you randomly encounter, only one of them is a veteran. And it's estimated that only about 1% of the hundreds of millions of Americans who have ever lived had the privilege of serving in the uniform. 1%. As our largest veterans generation leaves us at the rate of more than 1,000 a day, the gulf between the military, veteran community, and civilians goes wider and deeper, though you couldn't prove that by the turnout today. But as a society, we tend to recognize, if we do at all, our veterans in their millions. But let us never forget that there are individuals, our neighbors, our teachers, firemen, businessmen, women, fathers, mothers, our children, our friends, our co-workers. It's truly the only place in America that's an equal opportunity employer.